under the Congress? Did it really take this outrage for the Home Ministry to wonder what this man was doing with the President's medal?
No, I cannot agree with you more, Barkha. It's a classical case of collusion, and there is a need to open the case up, to reinvestigate it, to find as to who are the people at various levels at various points in time who shielded this person. And Mr. Harish Salve said it earlier, and I completely agree with him that this is a textbook case where people need to be brought to book, and it's unfortunate that it should require a national outrage.
But do you take responsibility for your own party? Because no party is willing to get up and say we made a mistake. Well, I mean, Ajay Chautala will be joining us on the show. He's been throughout saying Congress ki galti hai. Congress is saying Bansilal ki galti hai, Chautala ki galti hai. Where does it stop?
I am not in the business of apportioning blame. I think all those who were responsible, or all those who were in office during that period, starting from 1990 till now, all of them are equally responsible.
So should they be investigated? Should their role?
Absolutely.
Should this cover-up be investigated?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, absolutely. The key issues which require investigation, and I'll start by telling you this. At least 4 chief ministers have approached me when the Supreme Court directed that transfers and postings of police officers, one of the directions was, has to be entrusted to a panel, paradigms have to be laid, and that has to be done. You have to take this power away from the executive government. At least 4 chief ministers approached me and said, can you settle a review petition for us? I was just curious, not that I was ever going to do it, but I was just curious. I said, why? I mean, why do you need this power? They all laughed in my face and said, iske bina sarkar thodi chal sakti hai. Now that is where we are today. We have to investigate which officer was at which stage involved in delaying this.
Also,
whether the gentleman who's recommended an FIR, I've never heard recommending an FIR. Either you register an FIR, you don't register an FIR. The DG police, if it comes to his notice that a cognizable offence has been committed, he must pull up the SHO for not registering an FIR rather than recommend an FIR. Starting from there, in the ministry, in the CBI, somebody went and opposed adding a charge. Please find out who all these people are, including the CBI. And all this has to be under the scanner, because this is a classic case. I remember a long time back, when I was in the income tax office, I saw a junior officer walking out of the appellate officer. And there was a senior old wizened chap sitting there. I was much younger then. I said, what is he doing here? He said, beta, ye haath hai na, ye sab log haath ki ungli hain. Sab alag alag hote hain, khate time sab mil jate hain. That is what is going on here. We have to find out who these people are, and there is a way of going about it. Investigate at each stage. These are all people who have abetted the commission of an offence, abetted the destruction of evidence.
But if Kiran says that there is a conspiracy of silence, of you scratch my back and I scratch yours, Anand Prakash is really the person who has fought this fight along with your daughter. Because I mean, the Girotra family was traumatized, their son was slapped with false cases. What was the most difficult thing for you? आप 19 साल से ये लड़ रहे हैं, सबसे मुश्किल क्या था?
The most difficult job was to maintain myself in service under these corrupt officers for these 19 years. So whosoever government bureaucrat, maybe chief administrator, maybe commissioner agriculture, every time they told me, either you leave this case or you will have to face consequences. And one fine morning on 22nd June, it was message of Mr. Om Prakash Chautala through the Commissioner Agriculture Naseem Ahmed, who was considered to be the most honest officer, who called me and said, either you help Mr. Rathore and get the case withdrawn, or we are doing away with you from your service.
He said this openly to you?
Openly to me.